in regards to Georgia. Now, I wouldn't necessarily bet them to win the SEC, but I still would bet. I think you're getting a great price on them now to win the national championship. Now, there's obviously a chance that they will not get the first round bye if they don't make the SEC championship game and don't win it. But I know they lost, but I think if you're Kirby Smart or if you're a Georgia fan, I think you need to take a step back and be like, look, in order for us to lose, it took us playing our worst half of football that we could imagine in how long. It took Carson Beck turning the ball over and just making poor decisions and wide receivers not helping him out a lot. It took Alabama with a Heisman-type performance from Jalen Milroe to get up 28 on the road in a top 5 hostile environment for us only to come back and take the lead with 3 minutes to go. And then you have the ridiculous play by Milroe and Williams. And then, oh, by the way, we're going to get the ball back, and it's going to take an interception in the end zone by you to hang on and win. Like, if that's what it took for Georgia to lose a game, I know they lost, but I wouldn't feel as awful as some Georgia fans might feel about that loss.
I think your point about how to wager on them is very valid, because their schedule was tough, Bear, right? So they just lost to Bama. They have to go to Texas still, right? They have to go to Ole Miss, and they get Tennessee at home. So if they split those, you're looking at 3 losses. Now, a 9-3 Georgia team, Bear, is probably in the playoffs with sort of the madness we're seeing around. Like the Big 12 is probably one team. The ACC is probably one team, because
maybe two.
It should be,
yeah. But if Clemson were to win out, Miami,
sure.
I think the ACC might get two.
Right, but so that means that Clemson won the conference essentially, right? If they win out and Miami has one loss, they're both getting sure. But a 9-3 Georgia team, if they split those remaining 2 games, it's certainly possible to happen. Well, then they don't have to play the SEC teams as much in the postseason, right? They're not going to play all those teams again. They might play 1 or 2 of them. And again, Georgia versus Bama on neutral field is probably a pick-em right now. So that's a good way to maybe wager on this is, hey, they're not going to win the SEC, but now with the 12-team playoff, it's not as important. I was looking forward to, Bear, if Georgia scored at the end of that game, that would have made it 41-40. Because of the 12-team playoff, does Kirby go for 2 there? Because a loss, it stinks. It's terrible. But it doesn't matter quite the way it used to matter. If you lose that game in previous years, you might be out of the playoff because you're not even SEC championship game, quite possibly, right? But now, do you think he would have gone for 2 to win the game?
I think he would have.
Yeah. I think he would have gone. I think he would have done it too. That would have been fun to watch.
It totally would have been fun to watch. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this SEC kind of round robin-ish plays out the rest of the year. You would think Alabama is in a really good position to make the SEC title game right now, but I don't know where, but Georgia still controls its fate to get there, being that they do play Tennessee and Ole Miss and Texas as well. So could be getting a rematch there in Atlanta between the Tide and the Bulldogs. Anything else?
The Big 12 is the most fun conference right now, Bear, right? I mean, we'll talk about this again in the group chat with Sammy and Will, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know who wins it. I have no idea. I mean, is Cam Rising playing? UCF is, I think, downgraded severely after losing Colorado. Colorado looks good. Kansas State played bad at BYU, who's undefeated, who's 5-0. They've already gone over their win total, Bear. You know, but is Oklahoma State, I don't think they're in the running. Iowa State sort of under the radar, which I know you've liked Iowa State, Bear, but like I don't,
they sure are.
But like I don't know what they're. I mean, they're not flashy. What is Iowa State? They beat Iowa, good win so far. I don't know if I'm missing a team. Arizona had to come back.
They beat Arkansas State a hell of a lot more convincingly than Michigan did. But yeah, no,
Michigan can't throw the ball.
I think well, that's true. I think all you can really say about the Big 12, like we know that Kansas is not a contender. I mean, they're one of the biggest disappointments in the season. We know Oklahoma State is not a contender. They are a team that appears lost a little bit right now on offense, and I just don't care about Cam Rising anymore. I just don't. Every week it's the same thing, and every week Kyle's out there, and no, we don't know. Everyone knows. I mean, until we see him on the field, I just don't care. And I was under on Utah this year, so I feel good about that. So we'll see what happens.
Quick on the Cam Rising thing, Bear, because this is where I think the lack of an injury report and the secrecy of college football programs really hurts them, right? Because, in the NFL, you would know what his injury is. And I'm not saying that we should have to know what it is, but you would know exactly what it is because either the agent tells Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, and they put it out there, or there's an injury report, right? The full participation, limited, out, doubtful, is doubtful, questionable, or probable. They limited one of those four it was, or full participation. Like we know what these players' injuries are. And Utah's being super secretive when they don't have to be, right, Bear? They could just say, hey guys, Cam Rising has a messed up finger. It's going to take a month. And we would have been like, cool. And now, because they're so secretive, when you listen to us talk about it, I mean, Bear just said, and we both like Utah, like, I don't care anymore. I just don't care anymore. There's apathy now because we've gone through this for a year and a half of them toying with us. Also, think about like the players. I don't know if Cam Rising's practicing or not. I didn't even bother to check in this week, to be honest with you. I did 2 weeks ago before Oklahoma State. Like, is he practicing a little bit? And imagine if you're like a starter on that team. Cam's sort of there for half a practice and then doesn't play on Saturday. Like, it's just, to me, just be honest. Just say, hey, man, he's going to be out X amount of weeks. He'll be back. It doesn't do the opponent. It doesn't really matter. Like, I don't really understand the seriousness of it because it only hurts your program.
Bear Bets full episodes drop twice a week right here on the Bear Bets YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to stay ahead of the odds, and let's celebrate all of our wins together.